There is a quiet moment that almost no one warns you about. It does not arrive with fireworks or dramatic announcements. It arrives softly. And when it does, you begin to notice something unsettling. Relationships that once felt natural now feel heavy. Conversations that once flowed now feel forced. People you used to crave now drain you. And the most confusing part is this. Nothing is obviously wrong. No betrayal. No argument. No clear reason to walk away. Yet something inside you has shifted. This is the part of awakening that rarely makes it into books or inspirational quotes. The part where clarity costs you closeness. The part where growth quietly rearranges your entire social world. Awakening does not just change how you see reality. It changes how reality relates to you. And relationships are the first place where that change becomes impossible to ignore. Most people assume awakening makes you more loving, more patient, more connected. And in a deep sense, that is true. But before it does that, it does something far more disruptive. It pulls you away. Not because you care less, but because you can no longer participate unconsciously. And that difference changes everything. Awakening begins internally, long before it shows up externally. At first, it feels subtle. A questioning. A pause where there used to be automatic reactions. You begin to notice your thoughts instead of believing them immediately. You notice emotions without drowning in them. You notice patterns you used to call normal. This inner shift changes your center of gravity. Before, your sense of self was anchored in feedback, approval, connection, being needed, being understood. Now, something else takes its place. Awareness. And awareness does not cling the way identity does. As this new center stabilizes, your attention naturally moves inward. Not in a selfish way. In a grounding way. You are no longer scanning the room emotionally. You are no longer monitoring everyone else's state. You are no longer adjusting yourself to maintain harmony. You are simply present. And presence, paradoxically, creates distance. Not because you withdraw, but because you stop orbiting others. When your center moves, everything that once revolved around you must adjust. Some things can. Some things cannot. This is where relationships begin to strain. Not because of conflict, but because alignment has changed. Many relationships are not built on awareness. They are built on roles. Someone is the listener. Someone is the fixer. Someone is the emotional regulator. Someone is the achiever. Someone is the one who holds things together. These roles are rarely discussed. They are silently agreed upon. And for a long time, they work. Until awakening dissolves the need to perform them. When you stop identifying with your role, something uncomfortable happens. You stop over-explaining. You stop rescuing. You stop absorbing emotions that do not belong to you. You stop reacting on cue. To you, this feels like honesty. To others, it feels like absence. People do not always miss you. They miss the function you served in their emotional system. And when that function disappears, confusion arises. They may say you have changed. They may say you are distant. They may say you are cold, distracted, or no longer the same. In one sense, they are right. You are no longer the same. But what they are really experiencing is not your loss. It is the collapse of a structure they relied on unconsciously. Awakening removes the mask. And not everyone wants to interact with what remains. One of the most misunderstood aspects of awakening is emotional detachment. Detachment does not mean indifference. It does not mean lack of love. It does not mean disengagement. It means non-reactivity. Before awakening, emotions controlled behavior. Now, Emotions are experienced without being obeyed. This shift changes how you show up in conflict. You listen instead of escalating. You pause instead of defending. You respond instead of reacting. To someone who is used to emotional intensity, this feels threatening. Peace can feel like rejection to those addicted to volatility. When you no longer mirror emotional chaos, others may feel unseen. Not because you are unavailable, but because you are no longer amplifying their state. And that absence of amplification feels like distance. You are not colder. You are clearer. But clarity disrupts patterns built on emotional exchange. Awakening also exposes something most people never consciously examine: unconscious emotional contracts. Every relationship contains them. I will be available if you reassure me. I will support you if you never outgrow me. I will stay close if you remain predictable. I will love you if you never change. These contracts are never spoken, but they are enforced. Awakening breaks them. Not intentionally. Automatically. When you stop needing validation, some people feel unnecessary. When you stop seeking approval, some people feel unimportant. When you stop depending, some people lose leverage. This is where tension appears. You are not doing anything wrong. You are simply no longer participating in the same exchange. And when one person exits a contract unilaterally, the system destabilizes. That destabilization is often interpreted as betrayal. But awakening is not betrayal. It is evolution. And evolution does not ask permission. This is why awakening often leads to isolation. Not because you reject others, but because you need space to integrate. Awareness is delicate in its early stages. It cannot survive constant stimulation. Noise overwhelms it. Emotional pull fragments it. Expectation distorts it. So the psyche naturally withdraws. This withdrawal is not antisocial. It is neurological. You are reorganizing. Your mind is learning how to function without constant external regulation. Your nervous system is learning how to self-soothe. Your identity is learning how to exist without performance. This process requires silence. And silence often means fewer people. Isolation during awakening is not exile. It is incubation. But because society pathologizes solitude, this phase is often misunderstood. Even by the one experiencing it. You may wonder if you are becoming disconnected. You may worry that you are losing your ability to love. You may fear that something is wrong. Nothing is wrong. Something is settling. Loneliness may appear during this phase. And it is important not to romanticize it. Loneliness is real. It can hurt. It can disorient. But loneliness does not mean awakening failed. It means your old attachments have loosened before new alignment has formed. This gap is uncomfortable. But it is temporary. And it is necessary. You cannot move from unconscious connection to conscious connection without passing through emptiness. This emptiness is not punishment. It is space. Space for clarity. Space for discernment. Space for truth. Awakening strips away quantity to make room for quality. And quality takes time to emerge. Eventually, something remarkable happens. Relationships begin to reorganize. Some fade completely. Not with drama, but with quiet mutual disengagement. Others transform. The emotional intensity softens. The dependency dissolves. The communication becomes simpler. The connection becomes cleaner. These relationships survive because they were never built on need. They were built on resonance. Awakening does not eliminate relationships. It filters them. What remains is lighter. More honest. Less performative. Love without possession. connection without obligation. This is not loss. It is refinement. If you are in the middle of this process, there is something important to understand. You are not becoming less human. You are becoming less fragmented. You are not rejecting love. You are rejecting unconscious attachment. You are not abandoning others. You are returning to yourself. Awakening does not pull you away from relationships because you are superior. It pulls you away because you are no longer willing to live divided. And division is the foundation of most unconscious bonds. When you become whole, you cannot participate in relationships that require you to stay incomplete. This is not arrogance. It is alignment. There is a quiet dignity in this stage. You stop explaining yourself. You stop justifying your need for space. You stop apologizing for your calm. You let the distance be what it is. Not as a statement, but as a truth. And slowly, without forcing anything, your world reorganizes. People who can meet you where you are remain. People who cannot drift away. Not because you pushed them, but because gravity changed. Awakening is not lonely. It is honest. And honesty always reduces noise before it builds meaning. If you are walking this path, trust it. You are not losing connection. You are shedding illusion. And what comes next will be quieter, fewer, and infinitely more real.